Programming, I'm Chase Ingram.
I'm Captain America.
And along with me is Bill Grundler.
Wolverine.
We're talking about Cap. Not this Cap. That was stupid.
Not this Cap, that Cap.
Not that Cap.
Not
The
that
other
Cap.
Cap.
The other Cap.
CrossFit affiliate programming. I got the privilege to program an entire week of Cap. Well, not an entire week of Cap. 5 of the 6 workouts of the week for Cap. Last week, I had a couple people reach out because we talked about it, I think, last week. And they had kind words, which is kind of cool. But we're going to go through the programming. The what's, the whys. Bill has a lot of questions, usually the whys.
Mm-hmm.
Why do that? What were you thinking? And we'll just recap that. The process, the back and forth, how it all works, and the challenges of programming kind of a one-off week.
I think that would be so hard.
It is hard.
Like, and I don't mean like anyone can put together a workout. And this is what's so weird. I think when we talk programming or we talk CrossFit, like a workout is not CrossFit. Fran is not CrossFit.
Right.
CrossFit is like a series of all of these workouts. It shows, increased work or elicits the increased work capacity across broad time and modal domain. So trying to get all of those things in there, like you can't do it in a workout. And I think that even if you have to program a week, like it's
a weird feeling.
It's like a weird. It's like a picture.
Yeah.
In a movie.
Not even. Yeah. Right. A still frame.
Yeah.
Or 6 frames of a movie strip, because I program in cycles. Bill has his own like pattern and flow, and this week builds on to that. And so, I mean, I take it very seriously. I know everybody there takes it very seriously. There's a whole group that just does Cap.
Yeah.
And
so then what is, okay, let me ask this, because this is the why. And we were talking about this kind of before. What is the purpose for Cap? And I don't mean like it's for affiliates. I mean like that, but like,
right.
I mean, what's the why behind it? What's the goal behind it?
So a huge component of Cap. Well, I'll do the corporate answer. A huge component of Cap, and I do agree with this, is to be a big coaching tool, not just for the coach, but for the potential programmer.
Okay.
Because what comes with Cap is not just, hey, here's the workout. So it's not like .com. .com gives you a workout and just says, good luck.
Yeah. Yeah.
We won't teach you how to do it. We won't teach you how to coach it. We won't teach you how to scale it, although they have scales now. But even those are just, Cap has it too. It's like RX intermediate beginner or something like that.
Yeah.
And what Cap does is that it has a big wealth of information with every workout that's programmed. So I'll just pull it up. Why am I even at let me just do us a favor and show you guys how to get there. So if you guys are affiliate owners. Oh, here's our new. This isn't our new one. All right, so you log into your affiliate toolkit. I don't think I'm sharing any information that people should on my profile. And you go to programming. It's right here. Click. All right. And so this is this week. I did last week. So let's just look at Monday. 7 rounds for time, 2 rope climbs, 20 walking lunges, 20 hollow rocks. All right. All right. So with that, you guys will get a RX version, an intermediate version, and a beginner version. Now, what I think those should be is just mere guidelines for the novice coach and novice programmer of, here are the few things that I can look at to give me ideas of how to scale my athletes. Because nobody should just be like, you can't do 15-foot rope climbs, then you're intermediate for everything. I was like, maybe we scale to.
You mean like levels?
Like, well, yes.
No, well, when I'm saying that there's a whole program out there that does just that.
That's true.
And a lot of there are gyms that's what they prescribe to, and they do exactly what you say. If I can't do this one movement,
right,
then I am now in this other
Yeah, like it's all or nothing with the
Yeah.
levels or this. And CrossFit doesn't push you to one or the other, but it just gives ideas. And that's what it should be.
Right.
The other thing that they do is they basically do a whiteboard brief for 3 to 4 minutes on a video. They give you the intended stimulus, the number of rounds, coaching goals. So for novice coaches or coaches just looking to improve their skill set, maybe, and I would say it's nobody's above sharpening their tool, myself included. And it just like, here's the scale, movement substitutions, logistics to think about. 55 plus option is a new thing. The time consideration for the workout, all the videos of every movement that's programmed and how to scale those or how to teach those is embedded in this. And then an entire class plan. Like, we don't need this, Bill and I. But for a new owner or the owner that is just a satellite owner and has a gym manager in charge and has a bunch of coaches, here's a whole class plan. How long what the whiteboard should discuss, a general warm-up, a dynamic warm-up, a specific warm-up, all the progressions to each movement. There is so much.
Did you put all this stuff in there?
No,
or you just do the workout?
I just do the workout and then we'll have a meet. So once I've do the programming, we'll sit down with the other programmers that are part of that CAP team, and I'll basically talk about my, not unlike what we're going to do today. Basically, it'll be like what our meeting is. I'll say is like, hey, here's my intended stimulus. This is how long I think it will take. This is how many rounds I think somebody get. This is why I picked these weights at these rep schemes. And then they'll push back and there's that conversation, which is what's supposed to happen, especially for something like CAP. But to your point of like what it is and what it's for, it's a huge coaching tool. And I think it gives a classic affiliate CrossFit program for CrossFit gyms, different than say other affiliate programs out there, because it's just one workout.
Yeah.
Right. Versus depending on which one you look at, just too much stuff at times.
I do like that it is, it has all that background stuff, because I think that is important.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we have years of trying, failing, succeeding, messing this up, messing up this time frame,
Right.
Trying these progressions and having it not work, seeing this other person try that and then trying to bring it in and making it work or not making it work, tweaking it.
Mm-hmm.
And when you don't have years of experience of that, or a very well-versed lead coach to give you that information,
Mm-hmm.
or to expose you to that kind of information, you got to learn it somewhere. You have to have that resource somewhere. It is cool that it's all listed.
It's all there.
Which is awesome. So do you think, well, let me ask this then. What do you think is more important, the workout or all that background information?
I think it's all the background information.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, the workouts that we make up,
it's just
out of thin air, are centered around the stimulus that you're trying to achieve. And if it's like, hey, I need a 12 to 15 minute workout, I want to do every movement. Like I want to do some push, pull, core in lower body, maybe some squats. And maybe I can combo it with a thruster and a pull up and then a GHD sit up or whatever, right? And then you just put these things together and you can make a 12 to 15 minute workout hitting all those movement patterns. And maybe you only want to use 2 modalities of the 3 in an infinite number of ways. And so at the end of the day, it has nothing to do with the actual workout that's programmed, but it is what the workout is supposed to do, what the workout is supposed to achieve.
Right.
And I think CAP gives you an insight on that process, or that thinking process, at least.
What's funny is sometimes I'll get hit up by some of my members when we're doing the workout, and I'll get this question. I mean, most of the time people don't care. It's like, what are we doing today? Okay, that. Okay, cool. But I'll get this one. So what are we supposed to learn today?
Interesting.
And part of me is like, okay, you're not even understanding what you're asking.
Yeah.
Like you're just trying to ask a question to try to make it sound like you are being intuitive of what's going on, but like it's hard to explain that because like what you said, it's like I'm chasing the stimulus.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not chasing, well, today I want to make sure that you're very good at running or very good at
Right.
doing sit-ups. Like yeah,
Yeah.
but I'm looking at like this overall, it's really a strange.
That question is so fun because every once in a while you're like, we're just working out today.
Yes, totally. Yeah, totally. What are you learning? I want to learn that you get up to the red line and you can decide whether you can hold that position or not.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know what sort of grit you have. And they're like, but we're doing all da 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 da.
Yeah.
And
Right.
that's how I make sure that you can get right to the red line
Mm-hmm.
to see whatever. Like it
Yeah.
is it's interesting.
It is. It's like sometimes we're way overthink this. It's like I just want to. Sometimes I'll program something not for CAP, but it's like that I just don't want to quit, or I want to quit the whole time and I just don't.
Yeah.
I've been doing that on Wednesdays recently for my own personal programming. Is something long, grindy, and just pile on you. Not over use of volume. Like I did that .com workout from a week ago. The 3 rounds of 200 double unders and 40 burpees.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like another one was Holly Man. Things like that.
Dude, we did a fun. I like made up another version of that, like Holly Man. You know, that's like 1-3. What is it? 1-3-6.
Oh, 5-3-1.
5-3-1. Yeah. So what I did was this. I did a Murph style version of Holly Man, but what I did is it was reversed. So I did 9 air squats, 6 push-ups, 3 strict pull-ups, 1 clean and jerk at 225.
Oh, yeah.
It was so fun. 12 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
It was so fun. I got 13 rounds. I got into the 14th round.
Yeah.
It was awesome. Super lightweight, and then something heavy. Actually, I had Annie Sakamoto came to the gym. She came into town and she did that one.
How's she doing?
It was fun. She's awesome.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
Avera, we use CAP. It's obvious that this is not a program. I now use it as my accessory work because of that. So yes, because there's different people in the group doing a program, they have I think it's like a monthly theme. Mm-hmm. And so thematically, there's some similar things. I think someone was talking about like similar workouts. This one before is like they had a similar thing going through because this cycle of which I was told is leading into Murph.
Right.
So they wanted something. They straight up were like, you need to put Cindy in your program. And I was like, damn it. And part of me didn't like that because it's like, all right, well, we're doing pull-ups, push-ups, and air squats for 20 minutes. It's like that takes a few movement patterns just out. And I only get a week. And so there's an element of pressure because you only get 1 week. You don't want to do something like so extravagant and off the wall because it's your week of programming. They don't even put people's names on there, which I think is fine, right? It should be anonymous and it should be seamless. Like you shouldn't be like, oh, I know who programmed this week. That would be a problem.
Yeah. Well, I think we saw that when they did the celebrity programmers.
Yeah. Right.
It's like, look how cool I am.
Look how cool I am. And we used to see that at competitions for a while there between like 2014 and 2020 was programmers that just try to like break athletes and they thought that was cool.
Yeah. I can make a hard workout.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right. So the boundaries I was given, there's 6 days that are programmed in CAP. They take Sundays off. They used to program 7 straight days, which some people are like, oh, why don't you give me 7 days? Like, do it yourself. If you follow CAP, you've got 6 days of stuff, and then you get your day to program. Like, what is wrong with that?
Yeah.
Anyways, no, you shouldn't work in 7 days a week anyways. So Cindy had to be in there. They didn't give me the specific day, and I'll talk about why I did what I did. So the very first one, a lot of the things that I was thinking about is I don't want to do something that is just going to be hard overall programming, hard to manage as an affiliate. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking like .com, you're like, I don't care who you are. where you do this, what your skill level is like, go. Right? Cap, I'm thinking about the coach. I'm thinking about the class schedule. I'm thinking about number of rowers available, kind of a deal. And so the first one was, it's 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. So 75 total reps of cal row and 20, 16, 12, 8, 4 of toes to bar. Now, when I originally wrote this, it was actually 25 to 5 cal row and 10 to 2 wall walks. Now, the reason why it was switched is the conversation I had with the head programmers there, is that there was a bit more pressing overall when we looked at the total work done. And the suggestion was toes to bar. Great suggestion. Now, the cals for the women, I just dropped by 4. So 20 down to 4. And the suggestion was keep the toes to bar at the women's cal numbers. I think it'd be totally fine with 25 down to 5, but I don't have the final say.
Yeah.
So that's what it was. I really like the combo here because you've got that hinge pull monostructural, but then you have that core flexion with the gymnastics, and it works really well. It hits everything in a weird way that doesn't involve any real pulling, pushing, or squatting, which we'll get because we have Cindy later in the week. So this hits a big movement pattern right off the bat.
I think that it does do your squatting-esque sort of movement with the drive of the ski,
right?
And you do have the pull of the handle, and you do have the
it gets it all,
but it's like a warm up too.
Yeah, like an
I like that. Yeah. It's like an auxiliary version of that.
Yeah.
So even though knowing that you have that big chunk of Cindy that's going to be there, it's going to be a high volume. This isn't something that would hurt that. I don't think this would be something that would definitely tune it up.
Yeah.
Get it ready.
Spoiler, cool. I put Cindy on Friday.
Okay.
That's the lead up.
Okay.
So we got a monostructural component with a gymnastics component, and that's day one. Just run of the mill CrossFit, just little couplet. Now, the second one, I really enjoyed this one. And what this is, it's basically 2 rounds of a run coupled with a squat. So it's 200-meter run, 15 back squats, 200-meter run, 12 front squats, 200-meter run, 9 overhead squats for 2 rounds of that. And the weights and the reps is what the tinkering was back and forth. My original thought is I always like a 21-15-9 rep scheme, but I always enjoy trying to make it as a creative application of that rep scheme as possible. So the first run was 21-15-9 of back squat, front squat, overhead squat for 2 rounds. And like, well, that's 90 squats, and you have Cindy later. I'm like, yeah, whatever. I think the original weight I had there was I think it was like 95 and 65. Because I was also thinking about Nancy.
Yeah.
I wanted a weird Nancy, but with a Helen-like emphasis on the runs. Right? I wanted the runs to matter. I wanted the squats to matter. So I wanted to make sure I picked a run distance and number of them that you couldn't take a run off. I mean, you could if you don't care about your time and effort, right?
Right.
Also pick a rep scheme coupled with a weight that you had to and always could do them unbroken. So there was no gambling or gaming. It's like, well, if I do the squats unbroken, I'm like, everybody's going to do the squats unbroken. You have to run fast, but don't run too fast.
Right.
Or else you might not be able to do the squats unbroken, or you can't run to the bar and pick it up. And so it's going back and forth and landed on this rep scheme at these weights. It's still, what is it? Like 74 squats or something like that. Maybe 72. So the squat volume is deceptively decent, but it's the intensity of the whole workout that I think is fun. And the movement changes every time. And so different athletes might get different challenges. So for me, I don't like doing front squats. They're not fun for me. I'm bad at them, which is probably why they're not fun for me. But the back squat, fine. It's all from the ground. And then I get to the overhead squat and I'm like, all right, great. Now it's my time to have a break.
Yeah.
People are different, right? Most people look at the overhead squat like, shit.
Right. So, but they'll say, oh, it's only 9 though. So I can get that up there and quiver it around and try to make it work.
Yeah.
What was your time frame on this, do you think?
What did I have? I had
12 minutes?
I had yes. So 2 minutes per couplet at the
Okay.
slowest.
Okay.
Right. It's like run takes a minute, squats will take less than a minute, but aiming for fatigue. So I looked at that in 8 to 12 minute range for most of your athletes, with some people going sub 8 and hopefully nobody going slower than 15.
Right.
That they picked the right weight. And it was really, it's like, can you snatch whatever weight you can squat snatch? That's the weight you should use for the workout. Was kind of the baseline. Let's see. Avera. Chase, did you program this for bar to be taken from the rack? No, I did not.
That you don't need to with that weight.
From the ground.
Yeah.
Which that would help you pick your own weight if you don't know how to, because it is from the floor. And yes, James, it was 2 rounds for a reason. 3 rounds would just be too much pacing. And like I said, I wanted that Helen feel, because it's only 1,200 meters of running, so it's not even a mile.
Yeah, it's not far.
Yeah. So yeah, you're right in that time frame. So this is one of my more favorite ones. Sometimes you just got to program a down the middle one, but this one I wanted to get a little unique.
I do a lot of these kind of sets where there's a decreasing rep scheme when you go back squats, front squats, overhead squats. Or I pick a particular, but maybe it's just overhead squats, and we start with a higher rep and it goes from one weight, increase weight, decrease the reps, increase weight, decrease the reps. 200-meter runs, burpee box jump overs, something like that in between, where you have some sort of I don't want to say it's an active recovery, but it is something that, like, you're on the wheel and you're going.
Yeah.
And then you have to think about, like, okay, am I trying to make this a strength piece, or am I trying to make this everyone can do it, you just have to go? We're changing up your movement, but your heart rate's still staying the same. Like, it hasn't come down because you're getting to the barbell. So I like this one too.
That's exactly what I wanted it to be. Now, after day 2, like I said, is I have Cindy on Friday. And Cindy is a gymnastics triplet. It's a single modality. It's all gymnastics, but it's still a triplet. So it's not just a one-off. So what I like to do is, if I'm going to have a single modality day, I would love to have every modality have its moment. And then I was thinking, it's like, okay, Cindy is the crown piece that I was supposed to do. How do we set people up best for Cindy if they were going to do all the workouts? So the next day I had a couplet that was just smash and grab, right? Pull, core, that's on Monday. And then I wanted running the next day under fatigue with squats, because that's a bit of Murph. I still had Murph in the back of my head, but we want to go heavy once a week. Well, I did pull, core, leg drive on Monday. I did running, squats yesterday. We're just going to go overhead for the strength day. And this is one of my favorite overhead weightlifting complexes. So it's 3 push presses, 2 push jerks, and 1 split jerk. 1 set every 5 minutes. Increase your load, if you're supposed to, every set. And what this allows people to do is start light, because 7 sets of this is not nothing. And so there's no pressure in the first 3 sets to lift moderately light, work your technique, get your body almost used to the movement patterns, the flow, the rhythm of the complex. And then you have 4 more sets to go to get a little heavier, a little heavier, a little heavier. And that last set, I mean, every rep of this should be a fight. So once you get through that 3rd push press, you're like, great. But now I'm tired. My upper body pressing is fatigued. So I need to utilize the one thing that you do the push jerk for, and that's that dynamic redirection of the hips from extension back into flexion to receive that bar. So if your technique is off, you can't just muscle through this anymore. You have to be technically sound.
Well, and you know how there's that point where you start fatiguing, and then your body naturally, without even having to think, I guess intuitively, goes into a more effective and more efficient way of moving, where all of a sudden it's like you're not pressing anymore because you're right. You can't press. So what do? You have to have a more explosive hip opening and
Right.
more speed to get down under the bar so that you catch it without a bend in your arm.
Yeah.
And I love watching like my members when we get to that point. And that's usually right at the beginning part of where it's heavy of these sort of sets like this. So you had all that warm up, and more than likely they started lighter than they needed to. And there's a lot more pushing, even on the jerks, than needs to be.
Right.
Until that fatigues out, because now you just did all of those reps of pressing.
Yeah.
Now you can't.
Yeah.
And then you get to that last one. When you do sets like this, what are you basing, like, just in your mind, what percentage are you seeing people getting here of their shouldered overhead weight?
Avera, like, everybody should be taking this from the rack. This is the strength day.
Oh yeah, dude, yeah, totally.
Not the other one, not yesterday's, but this one, yes, please. From blocks would be even better. I honestly,
like when you have 6 reps.
You have 6. So with something like this, in a complex like this, I don't give people percentages because it messes with their head so much. And there's so much variance of movement patterns, and people are good at one thing and not the other. It messes with their heads.
Yeah.
Right.
But what are you thinking? What are you thinking for them to be around?
So for me, I'm really looking at what that push press is, because that's the gatekeeper for everything. So I'm like, all right, what's my 3 rep max push press? I want to try to be at like 95% of that. So my best push press, I think, was like 265 or something like that. Nothing spectacular. My best push jerk was 300, and my best split jerk was 315. And so I was like, all right, if I can get to within 90% of my push press max for 3, now I'm doing 2 push jerks at that time, we'll say, say it's 255, 80% of my 1 rep for 2 under extreme fatigue. And now into my split jerk, which is, say, 75% after 5 reps under fatigue. And it's forcing me to be you almost go through the entire charter as you navigate your way through this. The mechanics, consistency, intensity piece.
Right.
It's like, I need to have perfect mechanics in the push press to set myself up for the push jerk. Because if my mechanics are bad from push press, I'm muscling through things that I shouldn't muscle through. And now I've pre-fatigued myself into the technical aspect of this entire thing, which is the push jerk. But then the intensity comes on the split jerk, but I also need proper mechanics, consistent execution. And it's intense because I'm so tired by the time I get to that one. And someone is joking, is like, strength than a Metcon. I was like, do this and tell me you're not done appropriately, right?
Right.
You don't finish that last rep, you're like,
I love, so I am much better at push jerking than I am split jerking. For whatever reason, I feel more comfortable. I think it's just because I didn't do that really coming up.
Okay.
And so there's that default of what I get into, but I like, and I do the same thing where I'll have push press, push jerk, split jerk, because I want people to practice that. I mean, even though, this is a strength day, but maybe if your split is not that great, and I don't mean like it's so bad where you do that kind of that little
micro split,
that little micro, like I'm almost kind of bowing, like like if I had a little dress, I'd do a little curtsy, kind of a split. It's like not that, but being able to, it forces me to work that. So I like including that and telling people, like, no, you need to do. It's not just any jerk.
It's not often programmed.
It really isn't. And so I think it's really, I like putting those in there like that. This is something very similar to stuff that we would do.
Cool.
With like complexes and things. I really do like that.
I like this one a lot. It's so simple on paper, but there's so much you can get out of this. And there's so much room to coach. There's so much room to coach. One set every 5 minutes, and that's not a lot of time. But you can just, you have 3 movements to work on, but each movement sets up the next one. If you have a really poor dip drive, like if you have a forward lean on your push press, and then you got to overcompensate by pressing back, it's like your push trick's screwed.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Let alone split.
And something you said, which is really important for, I think, people to hear, is like, you know how there are the gyms. There are even CrossFit gyms, man. And it's sad to say, but there are gyms out there that they will not go overhead. They will not do barbell work overhead. They will not do Olympic lifting. And whatever the reasons are, like I'm going to make a post about this because I have gotten pissed. I get angry hearing people say those kind of things.
People blame safety, but it's really laziness.
No, it's because they do not know how to coach it, or they don't want to coach it. They're afraid. They are not the coach that they think that they are if they can't do it.
Right.
There is nothing unsafe about these movements, and in fact, they are extremely foundational and functional.
Mm-hmm.
And it's from what we taught, core to extremity. Whether you are cleaning from the ground or you're jerking over it, that's core to extremity. It starts at the hip and works out through the extremity from that. And it is important for, and this is the difference between us and other coaches. Like, and we should be embracing that fact.
Well, it should be the difference between CrossFit and other fitness.
And everybody, exactly. Everybody else. Like, this is why we do this. Let me explain why. Yeah. Not like, well, they don't want to, so I'm going to shy away.
Oh, they're so bored. I'm like, do you realize that you would spend 20 minutes preparing people to do this correctly?
Yeah.
Like 20 minutes. This is 35 minutes worth of work. If it's 5 minutes for the whiteboard briefing, call it 15 minutes. That's not a lot of time. So it's like, all right, everybody get a PVC pipe and we drill the movement patterns. Now grab a barbell and we're going to drill that. Like, it's constant movement.
Yeah.
But people are getting so smashed with garbage volume that is made for lifeguards and boot camp gyms and Orange Theory than it is for coaches in CrossFit. It's the thing that separates us from everybody else. It was like, oh, it's coaching. I'm like, yes, but why is it coaching?
Right.
Why is it coaching? Because people think telling people what to do is coaching. No, that's directing. There's a difference.
Yep. 100%.
Oh, all right.
Anyway, so I'm glad you had that on. That was good. That was good.
All right. Now the next one. This is the one everybody hates because it looks stupid and they don't want to do it. And I get it. This is also a theme that's happening the previous couple of weeks. So what I do when I program for, this is only the second time I've got to program for CAP, and it's been really cool to do, is I will basically reverse analyze the previous 3 weeks of programming before I get to me. And so what I want to do is that, all right, what's the themes we have? Clearly, Cindy is a theme, and working on more endurance monostructural work is a theme, because this whole setup is for Murph. Regardless of what me and Bill feel about prepping for Murph, these are the buffers that I'm within. And so what they've had in the past is they've had running interval workouts coupled with maybe like an L set, or a rowing interval workout coupled with a push. And I was like, all right, well, we just went barbell, single modality, weightlifting. We have coming up on Friday, because this is Thursday, Cindy. All right, well, I did a monostructural gymnastic couplet on Tuesday, and I did a monostructural weightlifting couplet on Monday, a monostructural weightlifting complex on Tuesday. And so I want to do a monostructural interval workout on Thursday to knock off the rust, what we've done the last 3 days leading into Cindy. Now, where this came from is, if you guys are old school enough to know the 300 FY bike test that was pioneered by Tommy Hackenbrook. I don't know if anybody in the chat, do you remember that?
I do remember that.
So when CrossFit athletes first found the old Schwinn Airdyne, which was made of aluminum and made for grandparents and old people homes. And then, of course, CrossFit guy sits on it, is like, if you hammer this enough, it really sucks. We should add it into the programming. And I don't even know how this, it was like I think OPT was a little bit part of this as well. But they came up with this test called the 300 FY test. And FY stands for fuck you, because when this 10-minute test was over, that's what you were saying to the bike. This is what got the Airdyne or Air Bike or whatever it is now, the moniker of the Devil's Tricycle. And what this test was, a 10-minute max cal test, but the gold standard was 300 cals. Let me preface, cals counted faster on the bikes back then, but to get 30 a minute for 10 straight minutes,
hammering.
You had to hammer the whole time, not dead sprint, right? But very few people were able to accomplish this task. And at the gym when I was going at the time, is like we had a month span where all the guys were like, all right, we're all going to take a shot at this. I was the only one who did it.
Woo!
No big deal. So what I want to do is bring that back, but put it in an interval format, because how do you make that bike test worse? You break it
give
up.
Yourself rest. You give yourself some rest.
Yes. This boring, simple, plain Jane programmed workout is the worst one of the 6 for the week, because you have to be able to put down a cal number, and say you're using the Echo Bike. You should be shooting for 40. I would say the new FY test would probably be 200 cals in 10 minutes on an Echo Bike.
Yeah.
It's about the same pace. So everybody can do a minute.
Gross.
You're at 400 watts. It's not that bad for a minute. You can do it. Now you got to do another minute. And now we gave you the luxury of giving a 2-minute rest, which just allows the lactic acid to
Just
pile
settle.
into your
Just to settle.
And now you got to do it 4 more times. And that's really what I wanted this to be. There's nothing sexy about it. Everybody thought it was dumb. I mean, I get it, but this is the most classic CrossFit test on the board, I would say. Not in terms of movement patterns. I think there's others in here that are classic CrossFit workouts. This is the classic CrossFit mentality.
This is the pukey one.
This is the one that Bill and I were talking about. Like, this is the test of the week. It's not Cindy. This is the one where you're like, nobody wants to do it, and everybody knows why they don't want to do it. So they say it's stupid so that they don't feel bad about being a pussy about not doing this one the way it should be done. That's what this one is. And it's just 5 rounds of 2 minutes on the bike with 2 minutes rest. It's so dumb. I get it.
It's just pure grit is all it is.
Yeah.
It's just like, put your head down and go.
Yeah.
And see what happens. This is the one that is the people that make it really, really bad and the people that don't make it really, really bad are like on 2 different sides of the universe.
Yeah.
Because you can make this so easy, or you can make it so hard.
This could waste your time completely.
100%.
And people want to leave your gym afterwards.
That's what's so. To do something like this, if you were going to program this for the gym, do you add the caveat of this is what you're shooting for?
Yeah. So this actually leads into the question that Pedro Mario Marceno de Souza, are you just like going off a lot of Savan?
Wow.
Savan universe guys? Chase, what's the warm up for this one and how do you prep for it? So I'll take that question.
Round 1, baby. Round 1.
Yeah. Just like Bill, just get on it, sprint as hard as you can and just pray afterwards. So this is still 20 minutes worth of work. So you have 40 minutes to prep your team with. So a lot of the prep would be the pre-talk, making people understand what they're about to embark on and what their goal is. At the same time, if you don't want someone to just waste their time by riding slow, you also don't want to set someone up for failure and just like send it. That's also a waste of their time because they're not going to finish this. And even if they do, they're not going to have any fun. And they'll probably be riding slower than the person who's actually riding slow on the last interval. And so what I would do is that since I have 40 minutes of playtime, because this is 20 minutes of work, I would spend at least 20 minutes of pace prepping people. It's like, all right, maybe the first round we do is like, and this is what I do when I prep for like really high intense bike workouts, is I'm like, all right, get on the bike for a minute, and you're going to go 4 basically phases on the bike every 15 seconds. So 15 seconds of I'm just on. All right, guys, the next 15 seconds, just get the bike moving now, right? You're not wasting your time. The next 15 seconds up to 45, now bump it up. And then the last 15 seconds, it's like hit a pace you think you'd like to do for the workout. But watch your monitor. What are my watts? What are my RPMs?
Right,
How many calories did I get in that 15-second mark? And that's like phase 1. Everybody goes through that. Right? Now your body gets hit with this and it has time to adjust, because if you don't warm up your body, like you have to prime for this one.
I think people forget the more intense the workout is, the more you need to warm up, because you need to really get the system ready to go. Like the more intense, like this right here, you have to get the blood moving. You have to get your heart rate up. You have to get your muscles ready to go. If it's a really long one, I mean, you really don't need to warm up all that much for it, because you have all that time to do it.
Right. And so that would be the initial phase 1. Phase 2, it's like, all right, now we're going to work in 10 to 15 seconds isolated.
Yeah.
Rounds of people. All right, get on a little faster, get on a little faster. How did that feel? It's like I was dead by 12 seconds. Like, then you are going way too fast. And so a lot of the prep will be pacing, but a lot of the coaching will also be things people don't think about that much. What should the seat height be for my bike?
Are you leaning forward? Are you back?
Forward
Yeah.
and back be on my bike? What should... Oh, Pedro, you obviously don't love us that much if you don't know what Cap and Wolverine are. Welcome to the show, though. We're glad you're here. What should the the approach be on how I breathe? Where do I look? All of that prep goes into the coaching. And so what you would love to happen is that, because we don't really do this a lot with bikes or even rowers, like how many people truly know where their foot pad should be on a rower? Like, oh, it's at a 3. Yep. That's what I do. Guess what? I rode at a 3 for like the first 8 years of my CrossFit career. And then I found out that I should have been at a 4 the entire time. Right. And so where should my feet be on the pedals? Do I push off the phalanges of my toes, or is that fingers?
The phalanges too.
Yeah. Is it the ball of my foot? Is it the side of my foot? Should my toes be in? Should my toes be out? What's the seat height supposed to be? What are my arms supposed to do? You guys realize there's handles on there for a reason. Your arms help your legs. And so all of these things you have an opportunity to coach, teach, and help people understand, and you'll never have to do it again. On a 5-round interval bike. So, anyway, that was a lead into Cindy. So Cindy. This is funny, is that I had to... So it's a benchmark workout. Bill, if it's a benchmark workout, what is the job for that day?
Well, we're seeing what I compared to before.
Right. What do you tell your members on that day? Right. Is it a lot like open day?
It's a test.
Is out the window.
We're testing.
Right. And so I don't want to speak too much of our inside meetings. They're like, so what would you tell the members, and like, how would you scale this? I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. We mean scale.
You're only scaling if you cannot physically do something. And then the question came up, and these are important questions to ask, is, well, if they're not good at pull-ups, are you worried about the pull-up volume? I was like, that's the last thing I'm worried about, because if they're not good at pull-ups, guess what they're not going to do a lot of? Pull-ups. If they're bad at push-ups, guess what they're not going to do? Like, nobody's going to hurt themselves in this workout volume-wise if they don't have a good capacity to do the movements. How do you hurt people volume-wise who do have the capacity to do movements? You scale the movements. You do jumping pull-ups or ring rows when they have that. If they have the capacity to pull-ups, you don't give them ring rows, because then they can do way more ring rows when they're not physically capable to do more ring rows. The same with elevated push-ups. If they have push-ups, air squats are air squats. And it was this whole pushback. Like, well, what about what? I was like, no, just do it. If you can do any of these as prescribed, you will do it as prescribed, because it's a benchmark test. It was interesting, the round robin we would go through with this one.
Oh, let me ask you this, because we've had this discussion before. Like, okay, you do Fran, and you do Fran in 10 minutes. You didn't do Fran, right? Because you didn't get the intended stimulus of what Fran is supposed to be. If something like this, if this is I can see if this is the cornerstone of the week,
Mm-hmm.
then we're not trying to get an intended stimulus for it.
Right.
We're testing you. We're trying to see what you can get.
Right.
All of the other rest of the stuff during the week, it's like, no, there is where you have the test.
Yes.
Okay, what if this wasn't the test? What if something else was the test, but this was being programmed in there? Would you then say, because I've done this, I've been like, okay, I want you to be able to hold sets of, or you should be able to do your set of pull-ups unbroken, whatever that is.
Right.
Whatever that the scale is that you're utilizing on it, because now I'm not testing you on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a workout building to whatever your capstone is. Do they have a capstone every single week?
I don't know if they have it every single week.
Or like they're maybe capstones.
Oh, like
they're the main one, not a test, but like their main one that they're kind of
the crown jewel of the week, and we center around that. It's like what Dave programs when he goes to the CrossFit. It's like, this is the event I wanted, and then I built everything around.
Right.
No, and to your question is, if this were all right, here's a 20-minute AMRAP, and we want to make sure people get 15 or more rounds. I'm like, okay, well, if that's what we're trying to do today, then let's just go 3, 6, 9 pull-ups, push-ups, and air squats, right? Yeah. Because we're not doing Cindy. And even to your point, I know we said it's like you're not doing Fran stimulus-wise.
Yeah.
But you still did Fran.
Well, and that's how you write it down. It's like, I know what my number is.
Right.
Did I get the stimulus? No, but I know what my number is on that.
Right.
So I can come back and I can test against that.
Exactly. Because if you change everything you do every time you do a benchmark workout, how do you really know where you're improving or if you're improving?
Right.
It's like, oh, I did worse. I was like, yeah, but you did pull-ups this time. Last time you did ring rows.
Huge difference. Huge difference.
But it was funny, the worry about the volume. And I was like, this kind of self-governs itself. If you can't do the movements, you don't have to worry about the volume, because they're not going to do as many.
Why do you think there was so much pushback?
I just think they might have just got in that mindset of it's a high volume workout. I was like, yes, if and only if you had the capacity to do that. And if you have the capacity to do that, who cares what the volume is, because they have the capacity. And if they don't, then you don't have to worry about the volume. And I would push back is like, the thing you have to worry about is if they have some capacity and then you overscale them and then they overdo it on the volumes. Like, that's where people, like it says in level 1, where do people get rhabdo the most? What is the one movement most common outside of the GHD? It's ring rows.
Ring rows.
Ring rows are jumping pull-ups. Why? Because it's so easy to do. And it's actually, we'll say ring rows specifically, it's actually a very demanding upper body pulling movement from a strength standpoint. Mm-hmm. More so, I would say, than pull-ups, like kipping pull-ups.
Right.
Like if you told me, it's like, Chase, go do a max set of kipping chin over bar pull-ups, and then go do a max set of ring rows, not on the same day. I will do way more kipping pull-ups than I would do ring rows. Like, Bill, you can do 50 chin over bar pull-ups.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah.
You
right now.
Do 50 ring rows. Strict.
Probably not strict. Well, then also it depends where, like,
let's just say feet right under the ring.
Right. That angle, because that's going to be important. But and you're right, because it you can make it so easy that it allows you to do
Yeah.
a volume that you have no business doing?
Yeah. All right. So this is a great question. And this was the flip side of Bill's thing is like Chelsea to me, yes, it's a benchmark test, but it's not that one's a little bit different. I was like, hey, the whole goal is to move for all 30 minutes. If you take 7 rounds off at a certain level, maybe you do that. I would actually scale Chelsea more than I would Cindy. That's a good question.
Yeah.
What would you do?
Again, it would really depend on what the person was able to do.
Yeah.
It's 30 minutes. It's a minute every one round every 30
One round of
minutes,
Cindy
right?
every minute for 30 minutes.
Depending on the person, I would be like, I would scale it to where it's like, okay, here's where we're going to know if what I want them to get.
Yeah.
If I'm wanting them to get a lot of their particular volume out of that, but I know that they can't, I'll either shit. Am I still on?
Yeah. Did you unplug yourself? Oh, you probably unplugged your headphones. Was that your headphones?
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
Depending on the person, if they don't have any sort of capacity,
There's no real score on Cindy. Like, or Chelsea's easy once you have the capacity to do Chelsea.
100%. Yeah, I mean,
so
yeah.
It's not really a benchmark. That's a great question, and it's a good difference.
See, I see that one as just as a.
Hey, are you good at this now? Yes.
Is a practice. Is a practice.
Yeah.
For Cindy.
Yeah.
Because it's giving you a break in between.
Chelsea is the first workout I ever ripped on.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like round 11. And then I just had to stop eventually. Or I'd take a round off and come back, and I was pouting. I was like, oh. Coach was like, what? I was like, I'm bleeding. They're like, and? I'm like, oh, okay. Cool. Crazy. All right, let's get to the last one. So the last one is my favorite one from a creative outlet perspective, but also I really like the movement patterns. But what went into the last one is everything that we did the first 5 days. It said gymnastics, monostructural couplet Monday, weightlifting, monostructural Tuesday, and then a weightlifting, monostructural gymnastic, single modality 3 in a row. And then the last one has all 3 in one, which if anybody's been watching the show, I love a weightlifting, monostructural, and gymnastic triplet. I love a twist on a 21-15-9 rep scheme format and try to get as creative as possible, hitting as much range of motion as you can using different things. So this one is 21 bar facing burpees. So that press off the floor, right? Full to the floor, stand up all the way. And then you have 15 deadlifts at 225 and 155. Now you're just hinging and pulling. So a bit of a different pattern. And then 90 double unders. So now you're vertical, right? So you're moving in a horizontal plane, vertical plane, but we're fatiguing your entire body, where it's kind of centering around the deadlifts.
Yeah.
But everything else around it is making those harder for 3 rounds. And so it's 21, 15, 9, 90 on the double unders.
Right.
A good chunk of double unders. The time frame, bar facing burpees, that's going to take a minute to a minute 30, depending on your speed. 15 deadlifts to hang on to that, should be unbroken. There's another, let's say 30 to 45 seconds, depending on your speed and your breaks. And then the 90 double unders is another 45 to... all the time frames are fairly close. The stimulus changes from one to the other. You can do the burpees. You can pick up the rope. Can you hang on to the deadlifts? And there's just no reprieve. And then putting the double unders at the end just to see if you can hold on.
God, that last set, I would be like, oh, come on, don't trip.
I really, really like this one. If I was not allowed to submit workouts for the Community Cup, I would have submitted this one. But I'm not allowed to.
That's it. It's an easy one to do too.
Easy to judge, and you don't have to judge in the Community Cup.
Yeah.
But even if this was a pro, right? So this is be like, if you wanted to say, like, so if our dream of the last chance qualifier actually being the Community Cup for that one remaining men and women spots, I'd probably pump this up to 275 or keep it. No, 275.
No, it'd have to be heavier.
275. And now just go as hard as you can. at a pace you know you can, or you know you have to, and you just don't want to. Really, once you get back to that second round of burpees,
Oh, God.
because you're going to get like 12, 15 reps in. You're like, God dang it, I have a whole nother round of this crap. Yeah.
I like it.
Thank you. Yeah. This is my favorite one. And then yeah, rest day on Sunday because you'll need to. Oh, let's see. James, can you discuss how similar this was to previous Saturday? Also, deadlifts and double unders. Let's see. What was previous Saturday? Let me look. I'll even show it here. Here. Deadlifts, double unders, run. Yeah. It's a couplet and only a run at the end.
Right.
Extremely different. Right. Yes, double unders and deadlifts. It's only 150. It's only 12. And rather than run. Why? Because it's my workout and that's what I wanted to do.
But what are we learning when we...
Yeah. Because my workout is better than this one, and I wasn't going to let someone's workout take away from the one that I wanted to program. I don't have a more sophisticated answer for you.
I'll give you a little bit more sophisticated answer. Just because you have two workouts that have similar movements in them,
well, it's why
the way that they're designed doesn't mean that they're the same.
It's also why I didn't put it on Monday.
Oh, there you go. I mean that is definitely far enough apart to where you aren't like back to back in the exact same movement.
Yep. I got that question from one of your members one time. Is like, man, we're squatting a lot. You're like, we've squatted in like 10 different kinds of ways. It's like,
right.
Yes, we're breaking parallel. And James, that's a great question, by the way. So thank you.
It's a totally fair question.
Yeah, that's a great question.
Oh, dude, I got that one too. Bill, you know, we already did this workout last weekend. I'm like, no, actually, we didn't. I changed it was a rowing and what did we do on that one? I think it was an interval set of rowing and then shouldered overhead, I think. And in the past, I've done ones like that where it's like, okay, 2 minutes max calories and then 2 minutes max shouldered overhead. Or I've done it where it's like 1 minute and 1 minute. So it kind of speeds it up a little bit. This particular one, I think I flipped it where you had to go shouldered overhead first, and then you went the row afterwards. And and whatever it was different. And so I was told him I got that. Hey, we did this workout already. And I'm like, no, we didn't. Well, yeah, we did. Well, I mean, it's close to it. And I go, yeah, I understand that, but it is different.
Yeah.
Like when you do it, you will see.
Another thing is sometimes part of variance is doing something closer together, similar than you would normally do.
Right.
And Dave said that a lot when he did that 2 weeks of
microcycles.
It's microcycles.
Yeah.
Because it was the first Monday of his 2 weeks. He did the 10 rounds, 200 meter run, 3 ring muscle ups. And then the last workout of his cycle. So 14 days later, he did the exact same thing. Mm-hmm. And what was cool about that is a lot of his workouts had the same stimulus. Like one was kettlebell swings and box jumps for 5 rounds. I think it was like 20 and 20. Mm-hmm. There was no stopping. Different movement patterns, similar stimulus to train you that, hey, whatever you felt like you couldn't do, we'll try it again. What was I going to say? Oh, man, I was going to say something. Dang it. Pedro, what are you saying?
Oh, well, do you think...
Oh, cool. Oh, you did that? Chase, I programmed the competition and made 3 wall ball targets for wall balls. People really enjoyed it in the skill aspect. That's awesome.
That is cool.
I remember when did we talk about doing that?
Was that for the...
Yeah. I remember that. A 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
On the way up, like a 10, 11, 12 or a 9, 10, 11. That's cool. That's so cool that you did that.
I think that's awesome.
I think that would be neat. I don't think that'd be too gimmicky.
I mean, in all reality, it's just as gimmicky as regular wall balls. True. I mean, it's not silly. It's not like you're having to travel with it. You just go bump, 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 bump. I mean, it's on our list, man. Accuracy. It's on our list.
Yeah.
So it's not, I don't think that's like a circus act.
Yeah.
You know?
That's cool. That's cool that you did that. I'm glad you tested it out.
Yeah.
Really yeah, so that's cap for a week. A week is challenge. I feel like so much pressure.
I think it would be difficult. Only because you want to program with your fingerprint, but you don't want to make it look like you're programming with your fingerprint.
Yeah.
And then you want it to fit with what's in there. And then there is a lot. And then they
like, hey, it's all about me.
Yeah.
That's how we broadcast. Like,
yeah.
We don't broadcast. Like if we say this a lot, if they never put our face or our names on the screen, we don't care.
Right.
We're not there for that.
No.
We're there for the show.
That's right. We're just part of the show. We're the bow.
Part of the show. That's why the talent word. God, I hated that.
I know.
Hated that. Speaking of broadcasting.
Yeah.
I will be broadcasting this weekend at the TFX Invitational for the individual competition with Angelo DeChico. Which
have you talked to him much?
A little bit, yeah. I told him, I was like, hey, do you want me to email you? He's like, bro, I'm 25. Text me. So I don't want to put bad juju out there, but you're going to take two of the more uncancelable guys, putting them together in one booth.
I think it'll be good.
Little to know. I mean, I'll keep the train. Angel's going to do great.
No, dude, he's going to do awesome. I'm telling you, man. I
seriously, which I think is really cool. I just want to make sure that he's like, we're a loose, like Bill and I have to downplay how much fun I'm having when I'm working with Bill to my wife. Like, how is it? I'm like, oh, it fucking sucks. Like it's cold out here. I've got shoes.
It's work.
Right. Yeah. It's such a long day. And the whole time I'm like, I've been crying all day because I'm just having so much fun laughing with Bill on the broadcast.
Oh man. I think it's going to be great. And I think it is going to be a unique experience for him also, because
I know I get to do it with Sean and Rich.
Yeah, but then again, man, with three people, I think it's tough. I think it's tough.
Booths.
Yeah, and I think what's going to be great is you're going to be able to lead him really, really well, which will be awesome.
Well, I told him, I was like, dude, just be yourself, which is what people enjoy. I'll take care of the rest.
Yeah,
like you have. All the pressure's on me because I'm doing play-by-play. So I'm driving the ship. You just stick your head out the window like a freaking golden retriever and just enjoy the ride, bro.
Yeah.
Like, we're going
to have what's cool, say what's bad.
Yeah. We're going to have a great time. We're going to have a great time. We're going to do a good as job as we can for TFX. Obviously, I'm very grateful for Jeremy Teal and his team by inviting me out there to be a part of that. It'll be a Saturday, Sunday coverage only. The competition will be on Friday, but the main coverage will start on Saturday. I also have an affiliate gathering that morning on Saturday. So,
wow.
So it's like 8 to noon, and I think the first event starts at 11:30. So I'm not doing the very first couple of heats of the individual competition on Saturday. But once I get back in the booth, it's going to be great. And then the next weekend, Bill...
That's right.
We'll be in, is it Knoxville, Tennessee?
Yeah, Knoxville. We're doing Syndicate.
At Syndicate, and you'll be with John Young. And
John and Sevon actually will be floating around. He's going to be there, yeah.
Hey, Sevon's going to be there in person?
I think he's going to be there in person.
No, he's not.
I don't know, man. I think, Barkley, are you in there? I think he's still on here. But the schedule is that he will be with us on the stream. Not that he'll be running it. He'll just, the tiering that we have on that one is we have commentator, coach, athlete. That would be me.
Yep.
We have analyst, athlete. That's John. And then we have fan that's Sevon. And so we'll be able to have all of our different views as we're going through that. But it'll be a little different for me, driving the ship for that.
Yeah.
But it'll be really, really fun. And John's fired up about it. I gotta get in touch with him a little bit just so we can get our stuff in line. But we're gonna have so much fun. And actually, that whole thing is gonna be fun. We're gonna have Spin's gonna be doing some coverage on there.
On site.
Taylor's gonna be there. Tyler's gonna be there doing stuff. Susan's gonna be running around.
I'm not gonna be there.
You're not gonna be there. But it's gonna be Pedro's gonna be there.
I'm the only one that's not gonna be there.
Whatever.
Right. I did not want to go.
Oh, I know.
But no.
And then the weekend after that, I got NCC.
Oh yeah, the same crew rolling over to NCCs.
Yeah.
And then that's the last one until we get to the last chance qualifier.
Yeah.
So an exciting couple of weeks. So I'm super pumped. So please, everybody, show up, come watch the stream. It'll be on YouTube. You'll be able to comment. I won't see them, but I'm sure you guys will have no problem leaving comments for me. And I won't read them anyways. So me and Angelo are really looking forward to the upcoming Reddit threads about our coverage, of which we'll be very proud of and hope you guys enjoy too. But we'll be back tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday?
What did I say?
Or Tuesday, Wednesday.
Which one are we doing?
So we need to analyze French Throwdown.
Okay.
And then preview TFX. So do you want to analyze Wednesday and preview Thursday? Because that'll be a shorter show anyways.
I think I can do that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So French Throwdown we'll analyze on Wednesday, all 8 events. Congratulations, by the way, to Claudia Gluck and Lucy McGonigal. Not to be confused with Lucy Campbell, which Lucy made sure he's like, you guys better tell the difference. I was like, I haven't mixed you guys up in like 3 years. Relax. Maybe when you guys first came on the scene, whatever. It's like I used to mix up Marcus Hendren and Dan Bailey every once in a while, but whatever. And on the men's side, freaking Callum Clements came back and got his second back-to-back games ticket. And freaking Bronislav Olenkowicz.
Dude, that guy.
Ass backwards falling into the games. Like, reluctantly.
He was like in and then out and then in and then out.
Reluctantly fit enough to qualify. It's so funny as I hit up Justin Kotler. I was like, hey, are you still coaching Bron? He's like, no, he's taking kind of the year off, just chilling. You know, he's still super fit. And then he goes out and freaking qualifies for the CrossFit Games.
Dude, I'm telling you, I think when people don't put when you don't put pressure on yourself, you just happen to perform
or overtrain, or overextend yourself in other competitions.
Right. You know,
seeing Lucy McGonigal's reaction to qualifying as an individual for the first time. We know she's done teen and has won. Right. This is someone who's won the CrossFit Games as a teen, and that means nothing to her compared to qualifying for the CrossFit Games as an individual. And that was cool to see because that's what you get with the CrossFit Games, right? That's what that is it. Games is peak, pinnacle. Everything in this space revolves around what the Games legitimizes. And that's the title, The Fittest on Earth, or where you place at the CrossFit Games. It's like, Rogue is amazing. First class, the most exclusive CrossFit competition in the space because it's 20 men, 20 women. And they get all that scoring system and whatever they use, and it's all based off how good you are at the CrossFit Games. You get your name at the Games, and the Games legitimizes every single other competition in the space. And that's how much it means to someone like Lucy. And it's really cool to see. So I'm super happy for her.
Yeah.
Super happy for her. So congrats to all those athletes. We'll be back on Wednesday. Pretty sure.
We'll figure it
out. Same time, same place, analyzing the French Throwdown. But other than that, guys, thanks for joining us. If you guys did cap, appreciate the feedback. Send me more. Can't hurt my feelings. People have tried and they have failed. See you on Wednesday.